Greetings, and welcome to Skylanders Portalcasters, the podcast where we talk about anything and everything Skylanders. I am your host, GFDitto, and I am joined today by co-host Inklander.
Hello, everyone.
How you doing today, Inklander?
I'm doing great, Ditto. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic, especially since today we're going to be talking about some of our favorite memories of Skylanders.
Yes, I'm definitely looking forward to it. Should be quite a lot of fun.
I'm hoping so. Well, let's hop right in. Why don't you tell me one of your favorite memories?
I think the one that I need to start off with, for me, is placing a Skylander on the portal for the first time. That was just a magical Skylanders moment to me. It was because I got the starter pack for Giants, so it came with Tree Rex and Cinder and Jetvac, and I knew nothing about these characters or really anything about the game. And, you have the opening cutscene play with Eon, and then suddenly, you have the Skylander intro thing happen, and then you have the choice. And I ended up going with Cinder. Cinder's my actual legitimate first Skylander, because I thought she looked really cool, being this purple dragon. Oh no, looked like a really cool character. And so just being able to watch that moment for the first time where a Skylander loads in and actually watching it transition from being just, a figurine on the portal to actually being a character in the game, that was such a cool thing. And I just remember being wowed by it and just being pulled in immediately by that idea, because at first I was hesitant about Skylanders and wasn't sure if I was actually going to like it. But just that first moment with it is really cool to me.
That is a really, really cool moment, actually. When I first loaded up Skylanders Trap Team for the first time, I was loading it up just to do a quick test on the controls for my son to play. So I didn't have quite the same experience. I had already known to load a Skylander into the portal. I had chosen the Series 2 Spyro, which I had gotten specifically for myself, so I didn't have quite that. For me, similarly, though, it would be that first time that I heard a villain get trapped. When my son trapped the Gulper and the audio went from the TV to the portal as the Gulper was trapped in the Traptanium crystal that we had there, that was just a magical moment. That was the moment where I kind of felt like I got drawn more to it.
Yeah, I mean, that absolutely makes sense. That's actually one of my favorite moments that I have on here as well, is using traps for the first time, because I watched all the videos of it at E3 and I watched all the trailers and everything, but nothing really served it justice as actually having the Traptanium portal in front of you and capturing your first villain, actually seeing it happen in person, having the character ripped from the video game world and be brought into the physical world like that. There's honestly nothing like it, I think, still, in video games. It's just such an amazing feat of technology to the point that it actually feels magical. And, sure, you have VR, you have AR, you have all these other cool mechanics and things that happen with video games nowadays, but just having that moment happen is spectacular. It's really cool.
The only thing that comes close to that specific feeling for me is the first time that I realized that I was a canon character in the Skylands.
Yeah, that's also pretty fun. Just being a portal master and how that actually means something. It's great.
So that's kind of the reverse of you're ripping the character out of the video game and into our world, whereas we're at the same time becoming part of their world.
Yeah.
Let's talk about another one of your favorite memories.
Yeah. So I guess another one of mine was just related to, Swap Force, because originally when I got Giants I knew nothing about the games, I knew nothing about the franchise, and it wasn't until I got asked about a GameStop pre-order and I was like, yeah, do you want to pre-order the next one? And I was like, yeah, maybe not. I was like, man, I'm not too sure. I don't know yet. And so then I went and started looking into it. E3 was happening at that time in 2013. This is the first time that I really paid attention to E3 too, because it was the year of Luigi. Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon had just come out a couple months beforehand, I believe, which is another one of my favorite games in game franchises. And so I was paying attention to the year of Luigi stuff happening at E3, and I was also paying attention to all the Skylanders stuff. Vicarious Visions was in charge of Swap Force, and they were showing off all the cool things, all the Swap Force mechanics. They were showing off a couple of the levels, and also at that time I went back and watched the reveal at Toy Fair where they showed off Iron Jaw Gulch and everything like that, and that sold me on it. So that was one of the first times where I really was paying attention to video game news specifically, and it was mostly due to Skylanders, where it's just I was trying to follow it, trying to get as many news and video updates as possible on there. That's also when I discovered Skylanders Character List and started trying to figure out, all right, well, what's my day one shopping list going to be like? What am I going to be trying to get? What am I going to be maybe waiting on till later? Things like that. And so it was just kind of the hype and build up between the end of Giants, where I was still, getting a couple figures, leveling them up, and also, preparing for the news and hype cycle of Swap Force. So that was another big one for me. What about you, Ditto?
On a similar note, when it comes to shopping for Skylanders, I always enjoyed, when each new game came out from Superchargers onward, I always enjoyed going to the stores and just seeing what had come out and what I could find. One of my favorite memories is my best friend and I, we went to the GameStop down the street from his house, and we absolutely cleaned out their used Skylanders section. Superchargers was already out at this point in time, and they had great deals. I think there was buy two, get one free deal going on Skylanders, or buy one, get one free, or something like that. And we just cleaned out their entire wall of used Skylanders. And then we went back to his house, and we sat down, and we spent 14 hours grinding to max out all the Skylanders we had just bought.
Wow. Chaos Doom Challenge?
Absolutely. The final dots.
There we go, yeah. I mean, that's the way to do it. Especially, if the character's compatible in Trap Team, you're going to use Chaos Doom Challenge to level them up, honestly. It's fastest, easiest way to do it.
Absolutely. And that was just the start of a really great 3-day weekend.
Yeah, sounds like it. That would be a lot of fun, honestly. I definitely have moments like that, too, where I would just sit down for 6 hours or something on a weekend and just, spam level up characters. And I would kind of do it in a cheatsy kind of way, where, I didn't have someone else that was playing it with me. It was just kind of me. But I'd sign in a player, too, and I'd leave the second player by the mystery box of doom.
Oh, my gosh.
So I'd just leave them there to kind of, sit back. And because they would get gold and XP, split evenly between the... Well, I guess you'd get the same amount to both characters, yeah.
You get the same amount to both characters. And what some people don't realize is in single player, you lose a lot more XP that just lays there on the ground. Whereas in multiplayer, I haven't noticed any XP just vanishing. It just flies off to the nearest character.
Oh, wow. That's actually a really good tip. I didn't know that.
So grinding in single player is a lot slower.
Yeah, there you go. So I guess that's a good tip, is just sign in a second person and leave them there. Actually get a friend or family member to play that second character, and then you both can work together on that. Either way, that seems to be the good strategy. Always sign in a player too, no matter what.
And then another thing in relation to that, a memory I'm so very fond of is for the release of Superchargers and Imaginators. I didn't get to play those day one, because I started doing the search day one as the games came out, but Santa Claus left those games under the tree, and just the look on my son's face each year when he opened up the new Skylanders game for Christmas, he just could not wait to get to it from there. Could not wait. And it's a heartwarming memory for me.
Oh yeah, I would imagine so. That's really nice, getting to play a Skylanders game, a new one, being able to open that up and play it and being able to experience that. I imagine that's probably a very good Christmas morning kind of memory. But for me, for quite a few of the launch days, for Trap Team kind of going forward, I kind of turned it into my own holiday. So much so that one of my other memories of Skylanders is I had a choir concert the day that Skylanders Trap Team released. So I told my choir director that I had a other important event that I needed to go to instead of doing the choir concert. So instead, I wrote an essay. This was a class, by the way. So instead, I got out of the choir concert by writing an essay about one of the songs. And so instead of going to the choir concert, I just went day one and spam bought everything I could at Toys R Us and just spent the whole day playing Skylanders. I took the day off.
Now there's a hardcore fan.
Yeah, I was like, no, I'm sorry, I can't go to my choir concert. I have to play Skylanders. I didn't tell him that. I was like, no, I have other thing that I need to go to. I came up with some lame excuse. I don't even remember what it was. But no, I was playing Skylanders. Same thing happened with the launch of Skylanders Imaginators on the Switch. The day the Switch came out, I had an honors event for my university where it's like a society where you have to like write a big thesis and something like that at the end of your college experience, and every year there's a day where you try to invite all these prospective students to come talk about the honors program. And so I promise I did it every other year, but the year Imaginators came out, the launch of the Switch just happened to fall on that day, and so I was like, no, sorry, I can't make it, I have something else to do, and yet again, I went to the midnight release for Imaginators and for the Switch, picked up all the Wave 4 stuff for Imaginators.
You love to hear these stories.
So yeah, I was just like, no, I'm sorry, I can't help support the honors program this year. I need to go buy some Skylanders and buy my Switch. had to be in line. I wasn't able to pre-order the Pro Controller in time, so I had to make sure I was there early. So yeah, that's another memory I have. So just skipping out on things in order to just buy up the store of Skylanders on day one. That was me for a few years. So I don't know, do you have any other fun memories, Ditto?
Actually, there are two of them that kind of coincide with each other. Let's talk about the fact that I have my own game-breaking glitch in Skylanders Trap Team.
Oh, yeah.
To me, that's a fond memory because I would be the Portal Master that discovers a glitch that nobody has ever seen before and have it happen more than once.
Yeah, there you go.
That would be on pace for a world record speed run, and then you get glitched out on the Chef Zeppelin just because you accidentally somehow beat the bombshell before it managed to even get over to the area.
It's so weird. Yeah, I was there both times that happened on your streams, and it's so peculiar because I don't know if you have to have Magna Jet to be able to cause it to happen, but it's something so specific. I don't even know how it happened to you twice in 1 week.
It really doesn't make sense, and yet it did.
You kill the bombshell that's flying over the arena, but the thing is the game has that bombshell like follow a certain path, and then it gets to the arena where you actually fight bombshell later, and then it despawns that bombshell and then brings in the actual bombshell that you're going to fight. And so if you kill the one that's like the fake bombshell before it's able to despawn and turn into the real one for the fight, then it just soft locks the game.
Yeah, the battle gate will never open then.
Yeah, but that happened twice. It's so weird.
It really is, and I honestly feel like only Magna could have done that.
I know. Probably.
So that is a fond memory because I essentially have my own glitch.
Yeah.
And it ruined 2 great runs, but it's fantastic just knowing that I'm the only one.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's just crazy. Crazy to watch it.
Yeah, I can only imagine. It was frustrating at the time, being the one at the controls, but I can only imagine the roller coaster ride in the audience.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, I went back and rewatched the stream later. Over and over again, I just kept rewatching it. The beginning of Chef Zeppelin and what you could have possibly done differently. And then I see it. Like, I see it. You despawn Bombshell. Well, one time you accidentally, actually killed him, because apparently you must have shot him, once, and so he got stuck on the path, and so later, before you get to the arena, there's the fake bombshell, and so you just kill him that time, but then the other time, while he's flying around in midair, Magnajet just flat out takes him out. It's just, I don't get it. It's just crazy, but I had to go back and watch it multiple times to be like, alright, what went wrong here? And then I saw it, I was like, oh, that's not supposed to happen.
Right?
It's like, oh, the bombshell gets destroyed. It's weird. But yeah, that's definitely a good memory, because I was there for that one, and I also agree. Just watching. That one's quite interesting.
And that ties right in with the time that I actually took 3rd place on the leaderboard.
There you go, yeah.
That is a very special memory to me as well. I would say I favor the bombshell memory a little bit more, but there are 2 memories that I can say I'm very fond of.
Yeah. What about the delayed trap trick? I bet you're probably pretty fond of that, too, because that was accidental.
Yes. Finding the delayed trap trick, developing the strats for the run. Those are also very, very special memories. Yeah, finding of the delayed trap trick. That moment when I realized, wait a minute, this could work. That was a special moment.
Yeah, the fact that you're able to just wait a couple seconds after having that character trying to load into the trap, and then just removing it once the wormhole animation starts, Just completely skips 7 seconds of it telling you bounty claimed, new Skystone, all that. It's great. It's such a wonderful trick to be able to see that. So that was a very cool discovery.
It really was. And it was a game changer.
Yeah, I mean, literally. I mean, I think you need to use it, 4 times? So that already is saving you, probably 20 seconds or more. So that's good. That is really good. Going off of that, for me, I guess another one of my fond memories is helping you figure out how to reset traps without the Wii version of Skylanders Giants. Because everyone had posted, well, not everyone, but there were a couple people on YouTube that were like, hey, here's how you reset traps. And they all used the Wii version of Skylanders Giants, where you put the trap in the portal, and then you tell it to reset the figure. But you don't have a copy of Skylanders Giants on the Wii. So I had the crazy idea of, well, we know that Spyro's Adventure on the 3DS resets creation crystals. I wonder if it'll do it with traps.
Right?
And so, of course, the 3DS portal does not have a trap slot. So I was like, all right, well, I know that NFC can transfer between portals if they're put right next to each other. So what if I put the trap slot of the Traptanium portal on top of the 3DS portal and then try to have the 3DS read the trap, and it just works. You are able to reset your trap by putting the Traptanium portal on top of the 3DS portal with a trap in the trap slot, and it'll reset it. It's crazy. I can't believe I figured that out. Or that I was that zany to think, I wonder if I'll be able to, just casually put the Traptanium portal on the, on the 3DS portal and get it to work. I don't even know. I don't even know. I was just oh no, it was like a light bulb just suddenly went off in my head, and I was like, I bet this will work. And then it did. It was kind of crazy. So I feel pretty proud about that one.
I think to finish out this topic, I would say that one of my fondest memories for sure was working alongside Inklander as we developed these tricks to improve speedrun times.
Yeah.
Working with Inklander on these tricks, it was an absolute blast. We had a lot of fun. And my very next run, we shaved more than 15 minutes off of because of these 2 tricks.
Yeah, it's really awesome. And I mean, I had fun working with you, spending the hours of all right, what happened in Chef Zeppelin? All right, how can we get these traps to be reset? It was a lot of fun to try to just experiment and come up with things, test all these characters with you and be like, all right, who has better DPS, things like that. It was definitely a lot of fun.
Yes.
And I mean, I'm still having fun doing it, of course, too. Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a pretty fond memory of mine as well, because, that just inevitably brought us to recording this podcast, too.
It really did. If we hadn't worked together then, we might not be here now.
Yeah, very true. So, yeah. Do you have any other memories you want to discuss? I might have a couple specifically game-related, I guess.
Actually, no. We've done my whole list.
Okay, cool. Then I'll just list off, I guess, a couple honorable mentions from me. The Sky Amiibo announcement of Bowser and Donkey Kong, that was really cool to see, because I'm also a big Nintendo fan as well. I stream a lot of Nintendo content. And so being like, oh, hey, look at this, Bowser's in the game. That was a really nice moment when they announced that on the Nintendo Direct at E3 2015.
On a related note,
yeah.
In regards to that Bowser figure, my best friend, opening day, launch day of Skylanders Superchargers, managed to violently crash his entire Wii U by using Bowser.
What? How?
And by violently crash, I mean it shut down and it was giving off an angry beep. And it had something to do with him flinging the Koopa shells at the mines.
Interesting. Not heard of that one. Not heard of that glitch, but okay.
He accomplished this numerous times on launch day.
Wow. All right. I wonder if that was ever patched or if that's still possible or interesting.
I don't know. I'm afraid to try.
You're afraid to try. Yeah, you don't want to crash your Wii U. That's a rare commodity these days. I guess another couple specifically in-game moments that I was like, whoa, this is big. Actually, both came from Superchargers. One of them was the whole Glumshanks sacrificing himself cutscene. That felt huge to me. That felt like a major moment for Skylanders. Granted, he doesn't actually die. Spoilers, I guess. I feel like if you're listening to this podcast, you would know that. Glumshanks, he doesn't die, but still that whole cutscene just felt very big and very epic and a very different kind of feel for the Skylanders universe, and I thought that was really nice. And then another big one for me was the darkness being the main bad guy of Superchargers, and it not being Chaos for the first time ever. Unless you count the 3DS games in there. But that was a big shock, was, oh, look at this, it's not Chaos, it's the darkness. That was a nice surprise.
That was really quite refreshing, actually.
Yeah, and I mean, I count that as one of my favorite memories of Skylanders, because it was just like, as a fan, being able to see, like, oh, look at that, like, Chaos is actually kind of helping the good guys at the end, and we have the darkness here that we're trying to defeat. I felt like that was such a great story arc. I mean, I have my feelings on Superchargers that are fairly negative for quite a few things about the game, but one thing that it does great is the plot. It shows so much character development from all the characters that I think no other Skylanders game does. And just the moment of the darkness throwing Chaos's words of "that's how you treat your minions" to Chaos, when Chaos used that with Glumshanks and Moneybones earlier, it was just, oh no, it was really cool. It was really memorable. So I feel like that was such a big stark change.
Some of our favorite memories in Skylanders today were the search for Skylanders and the shopping for Skylanders. We are still doing that to this day. Let's move on to our next segment.
So for our next segment, we are going to be doing Legendary Treasure Hunt. Legendary Treasure Hunt is a segment where we talk about what kind of good deals are currently existing online for Skylanders, and each week we have a different challenge that we give ourselves in which we're trying to find a certain type of Skylander, a certain type of lot that we're trying to find the best deal for. So this week's challenge was to find anything and everything Skylanders Imaginators, so that could have been an Imaginator, Imaginite Mystery Chests, Creation Crystals, you name it, level pieces, anything like that, for $70 or under. Ditto, why don't you start off with what you have for this week?
Alright, I found my lot on OfferUp. I found a lot, it wasn't just Skylanders, it was a total of 13 pieces in total. 12 pieces are Imaginators related. There is the Imaginators game itself for the Wii U, the Imaginators Portal,
Right.
Sensei's Kingpin, Barbella, Tidepool, Golden Queen, Ambush, Mysticat, Tri-Tip, Blastertron, and Pit Boss, and one Fire Creation Crystal. And as a bonus, also Trapmaster Nightlight from Skylanders Trap Team. This lot totaled out at $30 with 12 pieces directly related to Imaginators.
Right. Awesome. So for the point system and how we're judging this, it is 1 point per correct item. So in this case, that would be 12 for Ditto. But then it's also half a point for every $5 under the limit. So that would be 4 points. So that brings the total up to 16 for Ditto. Now, I'm also able to, at my discretion, because I'm the one hosting the segment for the week, add on another point to one of our two lots for like something special, for it being like the special one of the bunch, I guess, for actually kind of going above and beyond duty. And honestly, this is $30 for 12 different pieces plus Nightlight, which is a like light and dark characters generally are pretty expensive, and also Nightlight's kind of one of the most sought-after light characters from Trap Team. So, you know, I think this is a great combo. You got the game, you got the Fire Creation Crystal that comes with the game. Like, you have all the starter pack stuff and contents there, but then you got a lot of other good stuff too. So I'm actually going to give you the point. That brings you up to 17 points.
Thank you, Inklander. Let's hear about your lot, Inklander.
My lot is entirely Imaginators. So you have 3 Creation Crystals, Kingpin and Golden Queen, and you also have Taekwon Crow, Legendary Pit Boss, and also Crash and Cortex. So, you know, you got a lot of decent content here, and I found this on eBay, and it's $40. So it is 9 different things for $40. Not too bad, but definitely not as great as Ditto's. So yeah, you got the starter pack content just like Ditto does, but then you also have a couple more creation crystals, so you can kind of create on a whim there, and also you got Taekwon Crow, legendary pit boss, so you got a variant figure in there, and you also got Thumpin' Wumpa Islands with Crash and Cortex included too. Obviously here I have 9 points for all the different stuff I have, for 1 point for each of the Skylanders and creation crystals, and I have 3 extra points for being $30 under 70, so that brings it to 12 points. And I'm not going to be, awarding the bonus point to me. I gave it to Ditto, so that brings the total of mine to 12 and Ditto's to 17. So I'd say, Ditto, you're definitely the clear winner here. You got tons of great stuff for Imaginators.
Absolutely. And your deal was actually a really great one, too. I would highly recommend either of these deals to anybody looking to get their start in Imaginators.
Yeah, I would agree. And right now, Imaginators, just generally, creation crystals and senseis are really, really expensive. You see a lot of them going for way over their retail. And they're used, right? They're not new in box, but you see them going for $30-$40. And this just shows that with a little bit of searching and a little bit of digging, you're able to find some really great deals no matter what figure it is or what game it's from. And find something that works for you at a really good price point. Ditto's lot had tons of Imaginators, and it also had Nightlight in it. So that's really good. It just goes to show that you can find these deals. They are out there. You just need to search a couple different places. Search eBay. Amazon's usually not too great, but maybe occasionally they might have something. You never know. OfferUp, which Ditto uses a lot. So the deals are there. You just need to try to really dig for them, really search, use those find features, try to look for what price points work for you, and you're usually able to find something.
Couldn't agree more.
For our next segment, it's time for us to go ahead and hop aboard Flynn's ship, as Toys R Us likes to call it, also known as the Dread Yacht.
Welcome everyone to Dread Yacht Destinations, where we board the Dread Yacht and tour the various locales that make up the Skylands. On today's tour, we are visiting the Willikin Workshop, found in Skylanders Trap Team.
Right, so Trap Team is one of my favorite games, as I know it's also one of yours, Ditto, and I really hadn't visited Willikin Workshop too much before. It's not one of those levels that I tend to revisit like some of the other ones, like Phoenix Sanctuary, Chef Zeppelin, The Ultimate Weapon. Just there's a lot of great levels, but usually when I think Trap Team, I don't usually immediately go to Willikin Workshop as one of my main levels that I want to go back and play through. So it was really great to come back to this one and see how I actually felt about it, because I kind of had this like, it's probably not going to be that great kind of feeling towards it, because I hadn't really played it that much. But honestly, I was overall really impressed with the level. I actually ended up liking it more than I thought I would, going back in to try to replay it. What about you?
As a speedrunner, on Trap Team having been my primary speedrun game until now, I really hadn't slowed down enough to really take in the Willikin Workshop. Normally for me, it had just been the path to the boss fight against Dr. Crankcase.
Right.
There is a whole lot of detail that went into the Willikin Workshop that I, as a speedrunner, never took the time to appreciate. You've got the workshop itself, which is an actual factory design filled with these machines that are meant to serve a purpose and could, for all intents and purposes, be quite hazardous. This was the place where they implemented that crane puzzle from the Rainfish Riviera, but they actually did it right.
Yeah.
And then, leading into the workshop, you've got an entire Willikin village, complete with a railway system. The details that they put into it, it's actually a little bit breathtaking, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Especially as somebody who just tends to start up, fix the pipe, and just charge down the railroad track as quickly as possible to get to the entrance.
I mean, makes sense, yeah.
And this was also one of the first times I can recall where the Skylanders actually team up with Chaos to accomplish something.
Yeah, that's true, because after this level, he kind of gets carried off and captured by Wolfgang for a little bit, for a couple chapters. I definitely agree. That definitely added a pretty unique mechanic of this. It's like we're kind of at Chaos's home turf, but not quite. It's been changed up a little bit, but he still kind of knows his way around. So he's like actually kind of like helping us infiltrate his own place that's been taken over by Crankcase. So that was kind of neat. I definitely agree. That's pretty cool.
One of the details I particularly enjoyed was that somebody took the time to slap a bow on one of Chaos's portraits.
Oh, really? I didn't even notice that.
It's a nice little detail. It's very easily missed as you run past it as quickly as you can, but it's there, and I have to wonder, who put that bow there?
Yeah, I mean, that's a neat little detail they added in. But one thing that you talked about kind of earlier is that there's kind of a lot going on in this level, but I actually kind of feel like it works pretty well. It feels like it's split up in sections. You have the beginning, where it's the Wilkin Village. Then you got the factory. And then you have the walk to Crankcase with the Crankcase battle, right? It's kind of like three different things. And my least favorite section of it, and the one that I felt like was the least cohesive, was probably the Wilkin Village. It was cool to see the Wilkins come back, of course, from Giants, but it just, I don't know, I feel like they could have dove into Chaos's backstory a little bit more with them, maybe have him have a bit more interaction with the Wilkins. I feel like that section could have had something a little bit more interesting, because, you know, these were his friends that he made, because he didn't have any, which is kind of sad. And it's like, what happens? Like, how would they feel when he comes back? How would he react to them? I wish there was a little bit more interaction there. But as for the rest of the level with the factory and the battles leading up to Crankcase and then the Crankcase battle itself, I really thought were amazingly polished. The factory had the like moving arms that try to attack you, which kind of felt like a good callback to the moving arms that try to attack you in the Lair of Chaos in Spyro's Adventure, the last level there. Like, I thought that was a really neat kind of callback that was brought back in a different way in a factory setting, and the factory itself kind of felt like Drill X's Big Rig, but also completely done in a different way, which was really neat. And also the music in the factory was a remix of Oil Spill Island, which I also really liked. It was a cool callback because, you know, Oil Spill Island, while it's like a water-themed level leading up to the water source, it's very mechanical as well with all the pipes and everything, and I felt like that was a really neat thing. Overall, I mean, I felt like everything was very cohesive because it is all Willikin themed, but I wish they had done maybe a little bit more at the beginning. Yeah, there was a lot of details, and it was a pretty cool part. I just wish they had added a little bit more to it.
I can understand where you're coming from on that one. I definitely feel like we could have gotten a little bit more story out of the Willikins. I wouldn't say the Willikin Village was the least cohesive bit. I honestly felt like the bit between the end of the workshop and Dr. Crankcase's station was a little less cohesive. It felt a little bit out of place, as in, where exactly are we at this point?
Yeah, I can get that. It's kind of like a rocky void kind of look to it. I can get that. I definitely think they probably could have done this a little bit better if instead of having that walk to Crankcase at the end, it was just you get to the end of the factory and then you have the Crankcase battle there. That would have made sense, especially since the Crankcase battle has all the conveyor belts that you see within the factory. So yeah, I can understand that. Like, I think that would have made sense to maybe cut back that portion and maybe make that indoors in the factory, or you just take it out entirely and have the Crankcase battle. But the battle itself, though, is a lot of fun.
It really is.
It'd been a while since I'd gone back and played through it myself, and that's a great battle. Honestly, that's so much fun. I like all the detail to it. I like the barrel monsters. That's like really random, but really cool. Also, at the end, when they have that like spinning shredder thing, how you're able to like push Crankcase into it. Or, you know, of course, get damaged by it yourself. That's such a cool thing because you're able to trick him into spinning into it, and that's really cool. That's such a great thing they added in. You could defeat him by just continually attacking him if you really wanted to, or you can use that to your advantage, get a little bit more attack damage on it, and I don't know, it felt really cool, really well thought out. Wolfgang kind of just randomly coming in and taking Chaos and leaving again. A little weird. I feel like they could have scripted that story element maybe a little bit better, but they had to have that to lead into Time Town. The battle itself, a lot of fun. The gameplay of it is so much fun.
If you can't trust an undead werewolf, who can you trust?
Oh my gosh. There you go.
I agree, that boss battle is a blast, and I really enjoy Dr. Crankcase's character. How he takes the time to make sure he's got the right person before he decides, alright, let's do this.
Yeah, he's kind of like Dr. Doofenshmirtz from Phineas and Ferb, honestly. That's kind of what he reminds me of.
Very much so.
Is there anything from the level that you really didn't like?
No.
The only thing that I wish they had done more is, you have the Willikins there, you have a whole level based around them, give us a little bit more, like with the Giants, we got a whole big, I'm not a big fan of the level in Giants, but they still, really try to develop the background, the story, the kind of, lifestyle of the Willikins. And I wish they had tried to do that a little bit more in Trap Team. This felt like the opportunity to give a follow-up to that. You already have Chaos Slayer in the level, and it felt like they didn't quite pay that off, especially when you already have so many Willikin-based enemies, like Frankenstein and Fisticuffs and Scrap Shooter. You have all these, Willikin-made enemies in here. I wish they had done a little bit more to add to the plot and the background of Willikins, but overall, as for the layout of the level and the way it played and the music and the tone they were trying to set, I feel like this level knocked it out of the park.
Well, I feel like they could have done more. There wasn't anything I truly disliked.
Yeah.
Overall, it's just a really fun level and really well done.
Yeah, I would agree. I think this level is a pretty good showcase of Trap Team's level design, because I'm pretty biased towards Trap Team. I really like Trap Team. But even this level, which on my original playthrough and kind of in my memory, I didn't really recall liking that much, compared to some of the levels from the other games, this level's great. I really like it. I don't have anything I don't particularly like about it. I wish they could have done more, but what they did was pretty good.
On the topic of great battles, I think it's time we watched a couple of Skylanders throw down.
I couldn't agree more.
So it's off to the next segment.
Here we are at Archean Arena. In this segment, we pit two Skylanders against each other. I pick one, Ditto picks the other, and they battle out in a statistical kind of thought experiment. If PvP still existed, which Skylander would win if they were put right up against each other? For this segment, Ditto, who did you decide to bring to the Archean Arena this week?
I am joined today by a very special Skylander. I am joined today by Series 2 Bash.
Oh, alright. I was not expecting that one. Okay, that's cool. I'm down with it. Alright, the Skylander that I decided to bring is a sensei from Skylanders Imaginators. My pick is Ember.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, already I'm excited. For those that don't know, we literally go into this blind. We have no idea who the other person is picking or bringing at all. This actually could be quite an interesting matchup, because Series 2 Bash, while the senseis do have a really increased stat compared to a lot of the other Skylanders, Series 2 Bash is pretty powerful.
That he is.
I'll go ahead and start off and kind of detail some of Ember's stats. Of course, Ember is more of a mixed character when it comes to how she fights. And her health is 780 at level 20. All these stats are at level 20. Speed is 58. Armor is 24. Critical hit is 109. And she has 3 different attacks. She has the Samurai Combo, which deals 50 damage. And that's pretty much her using her katanas. I'm a huge fan of the Sentinel battle class, and Ember is just really fun. I really, really like Barbella too, but that's a conversation for a different podcast episode. She has that Samurai combo with the katana. She has the Flame Geysers at 84 damage, which pretty much spawns volcanoes, which is pretty awesome. And then she also has the Supernova at 136 damage, which spawns these kind of solar kind of looking things, I guess. They're these little circular kind of fire pits, I guess, kind of, if you want to think of them like that. The 2 different paths are the Samurai Combo path, which is improving the Samurai techniques, and then the other one is the Living Bomb path, which is upgrading more of the Supernova and the Flame Geyser path. So one of them a little bit more focused on the comboing, a little bit more focused on the katana and the sentinel abilities, and then the other one kind of focused on the secondary and tertiary attacks. So that's kind of pretty much what Ember is all about. She's really cool. I'm fairly certain she takes the title of fastest Skylander.
Nope.
No?
False.
False? I'm wrong?
Aurora.
I was so close.
She has a path titled the fastest Skylander alive.
Oh, that would explain it then. Yeah, okay, so I'm wrong. Ember's close, but not quite. There's quite a few from Imaginators that just, like, flat out go above Boomjet. It's just like, yeah, Boomjet had the title for a couple games, and then suddenly it's just like, boom. It's not because a lot of people think that the Skylanders in Imaginators were nerfed, but that is not the case. The case is that the villains have a higher health, and the Imaginators deal way more damage. They have way better stats than the previous Skylanders. So because of that, the other Skylanders weren't nerfed. They just feel like they were nerfed because all the Imaginator stats and all the Sensei stats are just so much higher than other previous Skylanders. It's insane.
We'll have to see if they really are indeed so much higher. Right here.
Yeah, true. We'll see.
I've brought with me Series 2 Bash with a whopping HP total of 930 at level 20.
Oh boy. That's better than Ember.
Critical hit of 56, armor of 39, speed of 32, and luck of 26. Bash's primary abilities are the Tail Swipe, which does 71 damage.
Oh, wow.
There is the Rock and Roll, which does 25 damage. And there is the Stone Fist, which deals 51 damage.
Okay.
And is Bash's actual ranged attack. Bash's paths, the Granite Dragon and the Pulver Dragon. The Granite Dragon path focuses on improving the Tail Swipe attack with an upgrade to the Stone Uppercut.
Right.
The Pulver Dragon path focuses on the rolling attack.
Makes sense. Okay. I love Series 2 Bash. I have 2 of them, and I have them on both paths. Anyway.
Bash's Soul Gem also increases his armor by 40.
Whoa, that's crazy. Okay.
For the purposes of doing combat with Ember, I would choose the Granite Dragon path to absolutely maximize the amount of damage my tail can do.
Yeah.
Seeing as how it starts at 71 damage. Also, that would allow me an upgrade to the Stone Uppercut that increases its damage as well. So that as I get in closer, I can jab those up under her to cause that damage.
Yeah, I mean, makes sense. With Ember, I'd probably go with Bash anyway. Go with the Living Bomb path to be able to try to work on the bombs, work on the Supernova. Just try to work a little bit more on those ranged items, those ranged attacks. Because, you know, if Bash gets in a little too close, that Stone Fist, while is ranged, isn't too far ranged away from Bash. But, you know, that Tail Swipe, that could definitely be a pretty big factor in taking me out, because Bash's primary attack does do more damage than Ember's primary attack does.
Ember also has a lower HP total.
Right, yeah, so the thing is if you get close to me, and with that armor, there's a great chance that you're going to be taking me out, actually. So the thing is I need to be able to actually be a little bit more ranged with Ember in order to be able to try to at least get you a little bit lower in HP compared to me before I even consider having you get a little bit closer to be able to use that katana attack at the beginning, use that samurai combo. So that definitely could be a really big issue, in that if you do get close to me, I'm probably done for.
And I can actually close the gap fairly well, very quickly, with that rock and roll ability. And it's got the mobility that I can fairly easily maneuver around projectile attacks as long as they're not too quick for me.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's pretty maneuverable, and it does deal some damage. It's not a lot. Like, it's just, I think you said 25.
It's 25.
Yeah, that's not really a lot, especially compared to, you know, Sensei. But, like, if you're able to get in close and start tail swiping me a couple times, I'm dead.
And that would be exactly my strategy every time, is to use rock and roll to get in close as quickly as possible, close that gap, and then just pound you with the tail. And then if you were to turn and try and get some more distance, try and make a gap, that's where the stone uppercuts come in. So I'd kind of try and keep you pinned in close quarters with me.
Right off the start, I try to keep using the Supernova, bring out those volcanoes with the Flame Geyser, and just really try to keep you at a distance. But if that doesn't work, there's honestly not too much I can do. So I wouldn't necessarily say Bash is like the clear winner, but I'd say you definitely have a way bigger advantage than Ember does, honestly. So if I'm able to keep you at bay, I might win, but mostly I feel like Bash would probably win this quite often.
I do feel like in this case, based on the stats and the techniques, I feel like Bash wins this 2 out of 3.
Probably. Yeah, on a 2 out of 3, Bash would most likely get this, hands down. So I'd say Series 2 Bash, that's the winner this time in the Archean Arena.
Yeah. That brings us to the end of today's episode. You'll find our website and our individual channels linked in the description below. You can also follow our Twitter at SLPortalcasters for regular Skylanders discussion, Imaginator design challenges, and if you want to join in the legendary treasure hunt, we post the challenge on Fridays so that you can find great deals alongside us before the episode on Monday. Thank you for listening, and in the next episode, we will be discussing our favorite and least favorite Skylanders from each game. See you then.
Bye. Going to give you the point. So that brings you up to 13 points.
That's 17 points.
That brings you up to 17 points. Math.
Thank you, Inklander.